Deku going back to class around a week later after the Heroes vs Villains test would be straight away told about another event coming up, the USJ. Deku and Bakugo are both excited about this until they look it up. Seeing it's a rescue practice, they groan and roll their eyes, waiting another day or two until they finally would be on their way. On the bus, a regular convo would go down, Froppy starting the conversation, asking who they think is the strongest in the class. They all think a little bit, Deku and Bakugo on the same level, and in their opinion, higher than Todoroki in this, timeline. They end up getting tied first place, people stopping to ask them, "Hey, what's the difference in your quirks anyway?" Deku and Bakugo look at each other before sighing a little. They know they were going to have to explain a lot of nerd stuff. Bakugo starts explaining his quirk and how it works, and explaining what he can do. Then Deku explaining his gloves, his shoes, and what he wore in the training exercise, along with how he uses his quirk. They're both hyped up after this, everyone going nuts. Kaminari's like, "Whoa, you guys are like walking nukes or something, it's kind of scary." Everyone agrees until they get to the USJ. The bus stops and everyone loads out, walking inside and sitting atop a staircase. Pro Hero 13 does a little speech like in canon, and Aizawa notices the villains. Deku, unable to do anything from this range, sits back. Sitting up with the class like in canon, Bakugo and him talk. "If you see any villains, I'm blasting them to hell. You in, Deku?" Deku looks back up at him. "Of course I am. I'll probably be first anywhere. Let me put these on though." He grabs some gloves from his backpack and a second pair that he requested from He grabs his gloves from his backpack, a second pair that he requested for personal use. Now he was ready. He smirks and both of them start revving up their quirks. Bakugo looks over at Deku, who's revved up. "Heh, if I get more villains than you, you have to do my homework for a week." Deku smirks, seeing a little bit of mist forming in front of them. "Say less, I'm already ahead though." He blasts forward, shooting right at Korogiri, the floor where he was standing cracking and tearing apart. Deku straight away puts his hand out, knowing Korogiri was most likely like the sludge villain. Pro Hero 13 calls him off to the back. His classmates all shocked before all you could hear was a boom! Korogiri being blown to smithereens. I'm gonna say his attack did hit. Deku putting his whole arm in, letting it go off half powered would have 100% hit the metal part. Korogiri now wobbles for a second before dropping to the floor. Everyone being able to see his body now. Pro Hero 13 reprimands him, before tying Korogiri up. She turns to the class and asks who's the quickest. Like in canon, Ida is sent off, but this time he uses Recipro Burst, shooting off in the direction of the school. From there, the rest of the class would plan. Deku and Bakugo staying ahead of the circle, staring at each other. Deku smirks, bringing up his fingers, holding up one before sticking his tongue out at Bakugo. Bakugo, pissed, decides, "Heh, screw it. You don't get any stronger sitting still." He blasts away into the middle of the USJ. Deku, seeing this, would smile, deciding to follow him. Once again, Pro Hero 13 tells him to stop, but it calls on dead ears. Both of them drop to the middle of the USJ, seeing Aizawa fighting the fodder in front of them. "Challenge start, nerd." The two of them shoot off in different directions. Deku, using his gloves, would body the fodder, saving up more and more thermite in the little container just in case. About a minute after Deku, Aizawa and Bakugo stand over a pile of knocked out villains. Aizawa scolding them at first, but would look up to them. Shigaraki looks at the three of them, scratching and tweaking, his lips chapped. No, they were cheating! Where's Korogiri? Nomu, take those three out." The Nomu starts breathing, stopping its head and turning to the three of them. Aizawa knows something was up. He would get rid of the Nomu's quirks. Watch out. He's cut off as the Nomu's already appearing in front of him. It slams a fist into Aizawa, which is blocked. Aizawa's arm breaks from the impact as Aizawa is sent flying into a wall. The two of them look at the Nomu who was in front of them, looking at Aizawa was at now. Oh hell nah. They both dip upwards, seeing the Nomu lock onto Deku. Not good. Deku straight away sees his container from the back, grabbing it and throwing it quickly as possible in the Nomu's flight path. Like he would have thought, the Nomu jumps up, Deku straight away activating his quirk. The Nomu getting closer and closer until BOOM! Everyone looks up to see Deku midair with the Nomu being sent flying towards the floor. It crashes into the floor and Deku slowly gets a check on it. Aizawa seeing it as it begins twitching. From the air, Deku begins screaming, "Bakugo! Blast that thing to hell, it's still alive! Bakugo, not even batting an eye, would send a full power blast right at its stomach, the Nomu being sent flying backwards, bouncing up again in the air as Bakugo sends another explosion at it. So pretty much like dribbled it like a basketball. The Nomu ragdolls and flies towards Shigaraki, who blocks it, thinking his quirk was still inactive. He grabs onto the Nomu's arm and begins decaying it. No, 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 no! Grah! Stop cheating! I'm gonna kill you myself! The Nomu now down to an arm permanently. Shigaraki begins tweaking as the Nomu begins healing the explosion damage. Bakugo stares down Shigaraki as Deku looks after Aizawa. He was conscious, but barely. He props him up and tells him to use his quirk for as long as possible. Aizawa, knowing this is life or death, pushes onwards, watching from the sidelines as Deku and Bakugo start the jump fest. They both smirk as they see Shigaraki running towards them. Nomu, back me up. The Nomu screams and jumps over him, Shigaraki throwing hand straight at a Bakugo, which he slips. The Nomu slips in between the two of them. Bakugo, already knowing exactly what was going to happen, shoots himself up. Deku, seeing his opening, punches Shigaraki in the stomach with his gloves, breaking and the steel taking off. He smears some of the thermite on the back of the Nomu and on Shigaraki. It feels this swinging backwards, which Deku barely dodges, throwing a vial of thermite at its sides before blasting off. Aizawa smirks seeing this, as does Bakugo. Deku flying up to yell, "Who wants to see the fireworks?" Activating his quirk as he starts to laugh, watching from above as the Nomu is straight up deleted. Shigaraki desperately trying to get the thermite off before it explodes too, sending him flying backwards, completely knocked out. Deku and Bakugo landing on the floor check to see if Shigaraki's knocked out. The teacher's coming screaming in just as they finish, straight away locking away Korogiri before coming up and finding Shigaraki. Thanks to the two of them, the entire UA situation doesn't happen. The rest of the students and the Pro Hero 13 stayed up and watched. Aizawa broke his arm and got knocked a little around, but that's about it. For about a day or two, they get their news off. News spreading as Deku and Bakugo is part of the USJ. People chanting their names in front of the UA in support. Aizawa backs up their story to his dismay, giving the two of them props for borderline single-handedly saving the USJ. They both feel kind of proud about this. Watching as until they start arguing over who got more villain points. Due to this, no one is injured and thus they all go back to school right after, this time getting given an entire week off to train for the sports festival. Everyone goes nuts hearing this. Deku and Bakugo smile. Heh, I'm better get first place. They argue a little bit before getting dismissed. Deku and Bakugo of course training together the entire week, along with just playing games. The week goes quick as the sports festival commences. The first day starts and they all sit in the locker rooms. Deku and Bakugo chilling in the both stretching and stuff until Lycan Cannon Todoroki would approach them, looking at them in kind of a sick way, declaring war on both of them. Their explosions reminding him of his father's flame too much. They kind of shrug it off, looking at each other and nodding before they're slowly called out to the front. Like normal, they'll be introduced by midnight and unlike Cannon, Deku is the one up to the front of the speech. He walks up all proud, everyone cheering louder and louder with every step. He gets to the top of the stage, looking around him, people going crazy, then he looks at Bakugo. Just know, I'm gonna win. Everyone like Cannon kind of goes nuts by this. Students start booing, some of the heroes laugh. Mixed bag. People in this time like him, like he's well respected as a hero already, so most of them seeing this just thinks it's confidence, and they kind of respect it. Bakugo looks up at him and gives him a punch in the back. Heh, stole the words right out of my mouth, Deku. That's exactly what I would have said. Deku and him laugh a little bit before the first game is announced. The first obstacle course. A smile creeps over the two of their faces, hearing this. They get to the starting line and ready themselves. Unlike in Canon, Deku in this timeline has his gloves on, giving him better control, yes, but if he didn't use them, he would probably blow someone up by accident. They all line up and Midnight holds her hand up, shooting her gun as straight away the floor below them freezes. Deku and Bakugo, having already thought of this, jumps up, already flying out of the tunnel neck and neck. They start booking it, Deku and Bakugo taking the lead by a long shot. They weren't playing in the long game. They wanted first place. They start fighting mid-run, straight away brawling, finding themselves in front of some robots from the entrance exam. They lock in a little bit before going through this. Bakugo straight away sending a huge explosion left and right. Deku throwing a small marble worth left. The ground begins shaking below them as explosions shoot off. All the robots gone in an instant. President Mike goes crazy. These two are on another level. Oh, sorry. These two are on another level. Once again, taking the lead is Deku and Bakugo. They once again start fighting, noticing Todoroki is getting closer and closer. They decide to lock in, stopping the fight so they can once more take the lead. They come across the 0-pointers eventually. Deku and Bakugo are smirking at each other. Another friendly competition. President Mike once again goes nuts seeing this, watching as the two of them give up the lead, both to destroy a 0-pointer each. They shoot upwards. Deku, like in the entrance exam, gathers a huge amount of thermite, dodging strikes midair before slamming it into the core of the robot, running past and watching as Bakugo explodes his. The fireball from his explosion, from the explosion of Deku's, dwarfs his. There's a huge fireball that explodes to the top of the the top of the stadium. People shaking in their seats as the shockwave hits them. Todoroki, who's flying close to the sun, gets flung backwards, having to stop himself with his ice, getting extra pissed off, seeing the two of them were off, if anything. Showing the two of them off, if anything. They blitz past the pit, not even a challenge for them, before getting to the minefield. Deku and Bakugo look at each other and decide, without words, to do it quirkless. They nod and straight away start booking it, running on top of the mines and trying to outpace the explosions behind them. They run and leave a trail of pink dust behind them as they nearly finish. Deku and Bakugo fighting once more before throwing themselves over the line. Someone needs to slow it down to tell, but eventually they see that Bakugo actually won. He rubs this in Deku's face, which Deku kinda hates, but he does respect. Watching for the rest of the competition as they finish as the second event is chosen. Just know I'm not going to cover it. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing then comes the first round of the finals, the 1v1 battle. Deku, like in canon, has to fight Shinso. Seeing he's a general student course, he would kind of get full of himself. Now, only because I have this never happen, and because I think Deku, especially in this what if, is gonna fall for Shinso's brainwashing, it's sadly gonna happen. The round would start and Shinso would go nuts, calling Deku weak, his hair game weak, his game weak, and then his mama is clapped. Deku, hearing this, straight away falls for it. You little rat, say that. He's right away caught again in it. Shinso telling him to walk off, which Deku would. Deku waking up and walking off, looking around him as he hears Shinso won. He falls to his knees completely destroyed. He was too cocky. He congratulates Shinso, telling him on the low that if he talks smack again like that, he's gonna spin his shit. Telling him, Shinso gets scared hearing this and eventually they go to the next round. Shinso wouldn't make it past round 2, his quirk having been said out loud, lowering his chances. Though due to this, he does get into the hero course, like in canon, and even gets an internship opportunity which he would accept. Deku, on the other hand, is pissed, being forced to watch from the sidelines. He felt so embarrassed, talking all big, saying he was going to win at the start. He can barely keep his head up. He watches as Bakugo completely blitz the competition. Todoroki from using his fire like in canon, leading Bakugo to take the win. He wouldn't even be ravid on the podium. He would kind of be mad though, stealing the mic from Aizawa and as he was presenting him with a trophy. I didn't win. Oh, sorry. Wait, someone's coming. Sorry, I forgot where I was at. I didn't win till I beat that nerd Deku. He got done dirty and you all know it. Deku in the crowd smirks, everyone staring at him before kind of agreeing. They did kind of hoe him, I'm not gonna lie. They begin chanting his name louder and louder, the teacher having no choice but to extend it, leading to one last match. Deku versus Bakugo. All or nothing. That's what I'm going to end it, by the way. This is going to be the end of part 3. Part 4 will be the final, like usual. I've got half of it written up now, but it'll probably come out tomorrow or something. Hope you liked this part. The reading was a lot better on this one, I ain't even going to lie. Didn't stutter as much or anything. I think I know the reason why. I haven't been waking up properly. I gave myself time to stretch and shit this morning. It's 5:30 instead of 5 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry for not uploading yesterday. That was a little bit my bad. I was playing Cobblemon, if I'm being completely honest. If you made it this far, please say the word Cobblemon in the comments. I will pin your comment. I do have a Discord now, like you probably already know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe, turn that bell on. Thank you for watching. Catch ya.